Your cellular structure maintains its shape with precise fluid tension. Stop thinking of hydration as just drinking water. Think about it like hydrostatic pressure in a complex machine. Your brain runs on electrical signals, but those signals rely entirely on the scaffolding inside your cells staying perfectly stable. Think microscopic structural engineers keeping everything aligned. When that perfect balance shifts, even slightly, you don't just feel dehydrated. Coherence degrades. We are tracking this microstability using what we call the cellular osmotic balance metric for subjective coherence. It's not about macro health anymore. It is the physical rhythm of your awareness itself. We've always thought hydration was just about filling up, a simple input of liquid volume. But what if it's far more complex? Imagine a highly calibrated piece of quantum equipment where even the smallest change in internal pressure throws off every reading. That's essentially how our neurons operate. It turns out mental clarity and subjective coherence hinge on maintaining ultra-precise fluid dynamics inside individual cells, not just overall body weight. This subtle balance is what researchers call the cellular osmotic balance metric for subjective coherence. When that equilibrium shifts, whether it's a tiny ion fluctuation or altered turgor pressure in cellular scaffolding, your perception changes instantly. It's physics at the deepest level of selfhood. We've been thinking about hydration as just filling a glass, right? Simple input. But what if that misses everything? What if your mental clarity isn't just dependent on volume, but on the precise internal pressure of every single cell in your body? Think of it less like a water tank and more like an ultrafine biological tuning fork. Slight shifts in fluid balance change how the neurons vibrate. That minute control over ion flow, that's what maintains subjective coherence itself. It's not just biology, it's physics happening inside you. And this means something nobody expected for emotional regulation, because stability at the cellular level dictates your capacity to feel anything coherent at all. What if your highest moments of clarity aren't about meditation techniques or perfect diet plans? What if the key is simply how water behaves inside a single cell? Think of it like this. Maintaining peak mental flow isn't just turning on a light switch. It's ensuring every tiny component in a complex machine has exactly the right internal pressure. When cellular ion balance slips, you aren't just thirsty. Your informational integrity begins to degrade. It throws off the precise scaffolding of your neural networks themselves. Some researchers claim this is all overblown and that simple input volume dictates everything, citing work on generalized hydration indices. But others are finding correlations between subtle changes in turgor pressure and states of unified awareness. If balance at the micro level controls experience at the macro level, what does that mean for your reality? What if mental clarity isn't just a chemical cocktail but a structural problem? Think of your brain not as an electrical circuit board, but like a complex hydrostatic dam. Stability matters profoundly. When the precise balance of ions and water inside our cells falters, even slightly, it disrupts the cellular scaffolding itself. It's more than hydration. It's about internal energetic coherence. We are talking about microscale stability directly influencing macroscale thought patterns. This delicate dance, this maintenance of turgor pressure within your neurons, dictates how effectively information moves across those synapses. But once that balance is compromised, the system doesn't just slow down, it starts generating noise. The receptor fires, but what happens next in these fluid dynamics changes everything about subjective awareness. We were taught that hydration was just input, drink enough water to be fine. But what if it's not about volume at all? What if the real secret lies in how tightly balanced your cellular environment is right now, moment by micro moment? Imagine a living system like a complex piece of machinery where tiny pressure fluctuations are everything. That's what happens inside every neuron when its ion balance shifts even fractionally. This instability doesn't just cause headaches. It fractures coherent thought itself. We need to start talking about the cellular osmotic balance metric for subjective coherence, because maintaining this internal tide is maybe the single biggest lever we have over our state of being. But how do you measure something that happens inside a trillion microscopic bubbles? So here is the core realization we've been tracking. It isn't about drinking a gallon of water. It's about how finely tuned your inner environment operates. Think of your brain not like a leaky bucket that needs filling up, but like an incredibly delicate hydroelectric dam where perfect balance creates flow. When cellular osmotic pressure shifts even slightly, when ion gradients wobble, that intricate energy supply stalls. Subjective coherence is literally maintained by subcellular hydrostatic stability. The actionable step? Stop measuring intake, start monitoring dynamic balance metrics for hydration and ionic state. This shift moves us from simple wellness to fundamental biological informational integrity. If you want the complete dataset, the full research archive is at jmthomasofficial.com. We've looked at vast fields of study, but the answer is surprisingly small. Forget thinking hydration is just pouring in water. Think about it as balancing pressure inside a fragile balloon. That tiny internal stability, the osmotic balance within your cells, is what allows for clear thought and emotional coherence. When that subtle equilibrium shifts, everything feels off. Your takeaway isn't to drink more. It's to seek systemic microbalance. You must address the foundational turgor of your system first. The full research archive is at jmthomasofficial.com.